All right, Pete, this is going to be the background for the character that I'm thinking of building. Hopefully, tomorrow we can get on tomorrow, or Thursday we can get on maybe later to actually roll up this character. But this is what I'm thinking for a background story on him. The character's name is going to be Carter von Darkethel. He's the middle son of Baron Eric von Darkethel. He has an older brother who is named Eric as well, named after the father, oldest son, of course. And then he has a younger brother named Jason, and his mother, who was named Janelle. He comes from a very traditional paladin knighthood family. They had long ago, his father had tamed the lands, routed the monsters and an evil cult from the area, and for years it's been prosperous. At the age of 12, the older brother was working and about to be knighted. He was about 18 years old. He and his older brother had a great relationship. Carter, on the other hand, he was always interested in the minstrel shows and illusionist shows that came to town. Never really had an interest in sword play or fighting or anything. While his father disapproved of that a little bit, he was kind of okay with it because his mother really supported it and enjoyed having a little bit tighter relationship with Carter with that sort of thing. So dad, would rather he be a sword fighter knight, but he didn't really think too much of it. And besides, he had the older brother to really, take on his name. Uh, Family had a lot of money, spent a lot of money, and part of helping Carter out was they bought him a number of little illusionary tricks, the typical magic shows that you would see even today with cutting a woman in half and all of those typical illusion tricks, if you will. Well, one day when he was ready to put on his first major show for his family and the local community, right before he began the show, he bumped into a small, thin man wearing a colorful rainbow stitched robe. This guy gives Carter a new wand and tells him, hey, why don't you save this for the finale? It'll give it a really good ending for the show. And so Carter thought, didn't think much of it, and he put the wand in his robes, and he went ahead and he put on his show. Well, his last act was to have a volunteer get in a cabinet, and he was going to make them disappear. Well, of course, his brother Eric, who had always been a good sport and really cared for his younger brother, volunteered and to be the person in the cabinet. So at the last moment, Carter pulls out the new wand, and as he held it, all of a sudden it started to vibrate and heat up in his hand, and an explosion of rainbow light came out. After it, the brother was gone, and everyone was amazed at the show. The problem was, after the show, there was no brother. Couldn't find him. Eric couldn't find him. It didn't go through, or Carter couldn't find him. It didn't went through the normal channels, and he couldn't find him anywhere. People started to get angry. Nothing. Couldn't find him. That night, some haunting pleas for help seemed to resonate through the castle. Nobody could pinpoint where the noises or where the cries for help were coming from as they seemed to move around through the walls. After about a month, his mother dies of a broken heart, wasted away. The father at this point expels Carter. He curses his son from the castle, never to return for what he did to the oldest son. As he leaves, the younger brother supplies him with a chest full of gold, hopefully to take care of him as long as possible. 4 years later, living on the streets of one city after another, Carter starts working to learn true magic. He's torn between learning magic that will help him survive and magic to help him discover what truly happened to his brother and to fix things. And he has a strong distaste for illusionary magic, which led him to this life in the first place. He still owns the wand that was used, and it still has a slight tingle to it whenever he touches it, but he hasn't dared try using any magic with it. He's learned his magic through begging, through paying when he could possibly pay, and he sometimes even sets up mages with some of the local cut purses to see them using their magic in defense and then copying it. And so he's learned a lot of his magic through that. At this point, after these few years, he's running out of funds, and now he needs to start deciding what path he's going to take. Is he going to continue a life of mercenary and survival and learning magic for offensive purposes, or is he going to work for divination to try to figure out what was going on? Trust is a big issue with him. He doesn't open up easily to people, but when he does, he forms very strong bonds. The question is he going to choke when someone else's life is on the line? And at this point, he's 15, 16 years old, and he's learning magic on his own, and that's his backstory. Hope you like it, and see if we can work with that.